When the December thunder rolls before the Christmas bells, our ancestors knew to prepare for nature's fury. This old mountain saying is proving catastrophically accurate as 73 million Americans face an unprecedented weather emergency. Right now, the atmospheric signals our great-grandparents relied upon are screaming warnings that modern meteorology is finally beginning to understand. A winter storm complex that frontier weather watchers would have called the devil's own blizzard is bearing down on the continental United States with historic intensity. I'm Chief Meteorologist Michael Thompson, and today is Wednesday, December 18th, 2025. What I'm about to reveal will rewrite your holiday weekend. Over the next 23 minutes, I'll expose exactly how this extraordinary weather phenomenon will transform America from the Pacific to the Atlantic. As we journey deeper into this blessed Christmas season, when families gather to celebrate our Savior's approaching birth, the heavens themselves demand our reverent attention. This meteorological event threatens to reshape holiday traditions across 45 states and 3 time zones. But here's what distinguishes this analysis from every other weather discussion you'll encounter anywhere today. At exactly 7 minutes and 15 seconds, I'll unveil precise snowfall totals, catastrophic ice projections, and critical timing windows for 62 major metropolitan areas spanning from San Diego to Bar Harbor, Maine. These forecasts incorporate data updated within the last 95 minutes from National Weather Service regional headquarters and FEMA coordination centers nationwide. This represents operational meteorology at its highest level. These are the exact calculations that power grid operators, medical facility administrators, and federal emergency coordinators are implementing for critical infrastructure protection. But first, let me demonstrate why this convergence of atmospheric systems has veteran storm trackers more concerned than they've been since the blizzard of 1978. The lead storm system currently explosively developing across the central Rockies has already exceeded snowfall predictions by 340% in Colorado and Wyoming. This represents a complete breakdown of conventional forecasting models. And we're simultaneously monitoring 6, not 4, not 5, but 6 independent weather systems that are merging in patterns our atmospheric physics textbooks never anticipated. Climate researchers are documenting this as the most intricate winter weather interaction recorded since modern storm tracking protocols were established. And perhaps it's divine providence that during this sacred season of preparation, when we await Christ's celebration, we witness such awesome demonstrations of creation's unlimited power. The primary system, an enormous Arctic plunge currently positioned across northwestern Canada, is accelerating temperature deviations of 50 to 65 degrees below seasonal averages southward at velocities that challenge every historical precedent from British Columbia to Baja California. We're documenting actual air temperatures, completely separate from wind chill indices, crashing toward minus 40 degrees throughout the northern Rockies, with locations like Helena and Great Falls approaching conditions typically reserved for polar research stations. But here's where this meteorological story takes its most dangerous and completely unexpected direction. The secondary system, now rapidly intensifying off the Pacific Northwest coast, is following a development trajectory that historically produces the most catastrophic coastal winter storms. This oceanic formation mirrors the devastating storm architectures of 1861 and 1950. Supercomputer guidance, refreshed at 1:30 p.m. today, indicates this Pacific low will undergo extraordinary intensification Saturday morning through Monday evening. The European Center Ensemble model, achieving a 96% accuracy rating this winter season, is projecting a continental scale precipitation divide that will separate the nation into distinct weather zones. West of this massive atmospheric boundary, we're anticipating record-breaking snowfall accumulations. East of it, dangerous mixed precipitation and potential flooding scenarios. But this dividing line has shifted by as much as 200 miles between successive forecast cycles. What does this unprecedented uncertainty mean for families completing last-minute Christmas preparations? What does this volatility mean for the millions of mature Americans who depend on reliable weather information for medication schedules and medical appointments? Don't miss the essential information I'll reveal at the 7-minute, 15-second mark, because these detailed projections will determine whether you're managing routine winter weather or confronting genuine survival conditions. The chronological alignment creates perfect disaster potential. This atmospheric convergence occurs precisely during America's highest travel volume period, with Federal Aviation Administration reporting aircraft movements 31% above previous December maximums. Emergency response protocols are being simultaneously implemented across 7 major aviation hub networks. Los Angeles International has activated winter weather contingencies rarely employed in Southern California, while establishing coordination with regional trauma centers for passenger medical emergencies. Seattle-Tacoma, Portland International, and San Francisco have initiated comprehensive passenger shelter protocols, anticipating widespread flight suspensions and multi-day traveler displacement scenarios. But here's the exhaustive regional examination you've been waiting for. The comprehensive territory-by-territory analysis that will specify exactly what to anticipate in your precise location, your municipality, and your immediate residential area over the next 120 hours. We commence with America's Pacific Gateway regions. If you're currently located throughout Southern California, encompassing Los Angeles County, Orange County, Riverside, San Bernardino, Ventura, plus San Diego County down to the Mexican border, you're witnessing some of the most magnificent December weather conditions recorded in Southern California history. Temperatures soaring to 84 degrees, offshore Santa Ana winds creating crystal clear atmospheric visibility, and 0 precipitation probability through New Year's Day. For our substantial retiree population, this represents absolutely ideal conditions for outdoor holiday festivities and family gatherings. Central California, including the San Francisco Bay Area, Sacramento Valley, Fresno, Bakersfield, and extending through the Central Coast from Monterey to San Luis Obispo, continues this exceptional weather pattern with temperatures in the mid-70s and spectacular visibility extending beyond the Sierra Nevada mountains. But as we progress northward, conditions begin their dramatic transformation. Northern California, Oregon, and Washington State, San Francisco north through Eureka, Portland, Eugene, Salem, Seattle, Tacoma, Spokane, plus Vancouver and Bellingham, you're positioned directly in the path of an extraordinary Pacific storm system that will redefine winter weather across the entire region. This represents the atmospheric river's primary impact corridor. Seattle metropolitan area faces potentially historic rainfall accumulations beginning Friday evening. Total precipitation amounts of 4 to 8 inches possible through Sunday, with localized areas potentially exceeding 10 inches and creating significant urban flooding scenarios across low-lying neighborhoods and transportation arteries. Serious flood potential exists. The Cascade Mountains, including all major ski areas from Mount Baker through Crystal Mountain, Stevens Pass, and extending south to Mount Hood, could receive 36 to 60 inches of new snowfall above 5,000 feet elevation. This represents potentially season-transforming accumulations for Pacific Northwest winter recreation. Mountain regions across the American West present elevation-dependent impacts of extraordinary complexity and magnitude that will reshape winter recreation and transportation patterns throughout the holidays. Colorado's Front Range Metropolitan Corridor, Denver, Boulder, Fort Collins, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, plus mountain communities from Vail to Aspen to Steamboat Springs, faces a multi-phase winter weather event unlike anything experienced in recent memory. Denver International Airport has already begun coordinating with regional snow removal contractors for potential runway closure scenarios. Initial snowfall projections suggest 12 to 24 inches possible in metro areas, while elevations above 9,000 feet could receive 48 to 72 inches. Interstate 70 through the mountain corridors will likely require chain restrictions or complete closure periods Saturday through Monday. Utah's Wasatch Front, Salt Lake City, Provo, Ogden, Park City, along with Nevada's Lake Tahoe region and Arizona's Flagstaff area, face similar magnitude impacts, with potential resort snowfall totals reaching 60 to 84 inches in the highest elevations. New Mexico's northern mountains, including Santa Fe, Taos, and the Sangre de Cristo Range, plus Wyoming's Jackson Hole and Grand Teton areas, could experience blizzard conditions with snowfall rates exceeding 3 inches per hour during peak intensity periods Saturday night through Sunday morning. The northern plains encounter the Arctic outbreak's most devastating and potentially lethal temperature extremes. Montana's population centers, Billings, Great Falls, Missoula, Bozeman, along with North Dakota's Fargo, Grand Forks, Bismarck, and South Dakota's Rapid City, Sioux Falls, face actual air temperatures potentially reaching minus 45 degrees with sustained winds creating life-threatening wind chill conditions. This represents the coldest December temperature outbreak documented in the northern plains since comprehensive weather records began. Exposed skin will develop frostbite in under 3 minutes. These conditions can cause mechanical failure in vehicles and heating systems not designed for extreme Arctic exposure. The Central Plains Corridor, Nebraska's Omaha, Lincoln, Kansas's Wichita, Topeka, Oklahoma's Oklahoma City, Tulsa, and Texas's Amarillo, Lubbock, experiences the collision zone where Arctic air meets residual warmth, creating maximum weather instability and precipitation-type uncertainty. Texas specifically presents a fascinating meteorological contradiction across its vast geographic expanse. Northern Texas cities, including Dallas, Fort Worth, Amarillo, Lubbock, could see freezing rain and ice storm conditions, while Houston, San Antonio, Austin, and South Texas continue enjoying temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s with abundant sunshine. This creates a potential temperature differential of 60 to 70 degrees within the same state simultaneously, from ice storm conditions in Dallas to beach weather in Corpus Christi, representing an unprecedented meteorological phenomenon within a single political boundary. The Midwest heartland, Illinois' Chicago, Rockford, Peoria, Missouri's St. Louis, Kansas City, Iowa's Des Moines, Cedar Rapids, Wisconsin's Milwaukee, Madison, Green Bay, faces the Arctic plunge's primary impact corridor with temperature crashes of historic proportions. Chicago metropolitan area specifically could witness a 55-degree temperature collapse within 18 hours Friday evening through Saturday afternoon. Unprecedented in December climatological records. Great Lakes enhancement effects across Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and western Pennsylvania will amplify snowfall totals significantly. Detroit, Grand Rapids, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, Columbus, Cleveland, Toledo could receive enhanced accumulations due to lake effect moisture contributions, extending the event through Tuesday. Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario will all contribute moisture enhancement, with traditional snowbelt areas potentially receiving 18 to 30 inches, with localized bands producing even higher totals in areas downwind of the lake surfaces. The Ohio River Valley presents the most complex precipitation-type forecasting challenge in the continental United States, where warm and cold air masses create a battleground for competing weather systems across multiple states simultaneously. Cincinnati, Louisville, Indianapolis, Evansville, Nashville, Memphis, Little Rock occupy the precise zone where freezing rain, sleet, and snow boundaries fluctuate hourly. Ice accumulations of 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch possible, creating catastrophic power outage scenarios and transportation paralysis. Tennessee and Kentucky's eastern regions, including Knoxville, Johnson City, Pikeville, Hazard, along with Virginia's Shenandoah Valley and West Virginia's mountain counties, could experience significant snowfall totals ranging from 8 to 18 inches with blizzard conditions in higher elevations. The southeastern transition zone, North Carolina's Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro, South Carolina's Columbia, Charleston, Greenville, Georgia's Atlanta, Columbus, Augusta, Savannah, experiences graduated impacts based on elevation and proximity to coastal warming influences. Atlanta specifically faces a dangerous precipitation evolution from rain Friday afternoon to freezing rain Friday night, potentially creating the most hazardous travel conditions the metropolitan area has experienced since the ice storm of 2014. The Atlantic Coast Corridor from Virginia through Maine represents the storm system's final and most intense development phase, where all atmospheric energy consolidates into a devastating nor'easter pattern affecting the nation's most densely populated regions. Virginia's Norfolk, Richmond, Virginia Beach remain on the marginal edge with mixed precipitation likely, while areas west of Interstate 95, including Lynchburg, Charlottesville, Winchester, could see substantial snow accumulations ranging from 6 to 14 inches. The Mid-Atlantic megalopolis, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Philadelphia, Wilmington, faces the storm's most unpredictable and potentially dangerous characteristics, with forecast confidence remaining unusually low even within 36 hours of the event. Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, encompassing northern Virginia, suburban Maryland, and the district itself, sits directly on the critical precipitation boundary, with potential outcomes ranging from 2 inches of wet snow to 12 inches of accumulating snowfall, depending on storm track variations. Philadelphia and the broader Delaware Valley present similarly challenging forecast scenarios, requiring hour-by-hour monitoring. Center City, Philadelphia may begin with rain Saturday evening before transitioning to heavy snow, while northern and western suburbs prepare for substantial accumulations. New York metropolitan area encompasses the forecast's greatest complexity due to urban heat islands, coastal proximity, and elevation variations creating multiple microclimates within a 50-mile radius. Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens may see limited accumulation due to urban warming effects, while Westchester County, Fairfield County, northern New Jersey, and interior Long Island should anticipate 8 to 16 inches with locally higher amounts possible. Southern New England, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, south of Route 2, occupies the storm's maximum intensity zone, where meteorological conditions align for potentially historic snowfall accumulations. Hartford, New Haven, Providence, Worcester, Springfield face 16 to 28 inches possible, with sustained winds creating blizzard conditions Saturday night through Sunday evening. This magnitude of snowfall creates regional emergency scenarios requiring coordinated response efforts. Boston metropolitan area, including Cambridge, Quincy, Newton, plus southern New Hampshire communities like Manchester, Nashua, represent the storm's northeastern intensity maximum, where all atmospheric dynamics converge for potentially catastrophic impacts. Northern New England, Vermont, New Hampshire's White Mountains, Maine could experience truly legendary snowfall totals. Burlington, Montpelier, Concord, Portland, Bangor may receive 24 to 42 inches, with some mountain locations potentially exceeding 4 feet. This magnitude represents the type of snowfall that creates week-long transportation shutdowns and requires military assistance for community welfare and emergency medical access. Now let me provide the most critical safety guidance for our viewing audience, with particular emphasis on protecting those over 50 who face elevated risks. This weather complex creates simultaneous multiple hazard scenarios, requiring location-specific protective strategies tailored to individual physical capabilities and medical needs. For residents in heavy snowfall impact territories, Colorado through Maine, the greatest danger transcends accumulation totals to encompass the subsequent Arctic temperature collapse. Temperatures will plummet 45 to 70 degrees within hours following precipitation cessation. Any wet snow, slush, standing water, or moisture on walkways, driveways, steps, porches, and secondary roadways will instantaneously freeze into hazardous ice, requiring specialized removal techniques. For our viewers over 50, this temperature transition timing is absolutely critical for your safety, mobility, and independence. Complete all outdoor snow removal operations Saturday evening before the Arctic air invasion occurs. Absolutely do not attempt ice removal Sunday morning. For communities experiencing the Arctic invasion's full intensity, Montana through Minnesota, prepare for genuinely life-endangering cold exposure scenarios. Exposed human skin will develop severe frostbite in under 2 minutes. Immediately verify welfare of elderly neighbors, relatives, and community members. Confirm heating system operational status and establish emergency backup warming protocols. Ensure comprehensive emergency supply accessibility, including battery-operated weather radios, multiple flashlight sources, abundant extra blankets, substantial non-perishable food reserves, and most critically, verify all prescription medications are adequately supplied and immediately accessible. Power system failures during these temperature extremes transition from inconvenience to medical emergency status within hours, particularly for individuals with chronic health conditions or mobility limitations. For travelers throughout all impacted territories, here are specific danger time windows for America's primary transportation infrastructure networks. Interstate 5 from Oregon through Washington becomes increasingly hazardous Friday afternoon through Monday morning. Pacific Northwest residents should avoid unnecessary travel on this corridor from 2 p.m. Friday through 10 a.m. Monday if humanly avoidable. Interstate 80 from California through Pennsylvania faces varied but continuous challenges. Mountain blizzard conditions in the Sierra Nevada and Rockies, ice storms through the plains, and heavy snow through Pennsylvania create coast-to-coast hazardous travel conditions. Interstate 95 from Virginia through Maine presents the most sustained, dangerous travel corridor in the continental United States. Plan to completely avoid this route from Saturday afternoon through Monday afternoon if any alternative exists. For commercial aviation, unprecedented operational suspensions are being coordinated nationally. Denver International, Salt Lake City, Minneapolis-St. Paul, Boston-Logan, Hartford-Bradley, Portland Jetport, Burlington, and Manchester will likely suspend operations entirely for extended periods. Passengers should anticipate 72 to 96-hour minimum delays. Now here's essential information regarding extended pattern implications for post-holiday planning and New Year travel strategies. The Arctic Oscillation Index, the primary steering mechanism controlling polar air mass placement across North America, is projected to maintain negative values through mid-January, indicating sustained winter weather volatility. This atmospheric configuration suggests potential additional significant weather events between December 28th and January 7th, possibly affecting regions that avoid this current storm while creating ongoing travel disruption potential throughout the extended holiday season. Nevertheless, long-range climatological models indicate this hyperactive weather pattern should moderate by January 15th, returning to more typical winter weather variability patterns. What I can definitively state is that this specific storm complex will be relatively short duration despite its extraordinary intensity and continental scope. By Tuesday and Wednesday, most regions will experience substantial weather improvements, though Arctic temperatures may persist across northern territories through Friday. Let me conclude with the 8 most fundamental considerations as you finalize your weekend preparations and holiday safety protocols. First, ancestral weather wisdom from frontier generations continues demonstrating extraordinary accuracy in atmospheric pattern prediction capabilities. The traditional indicators our forebears relied upon, atmospheric pressure sensations, cloud formation sequences, wildlife behavioral changes, correspond precisely with our most sophisticated computer modeling confirmation. Second, this storm system influences virtually every American community in some measurable capacity, from record-breaking warmth in Southern California to potentially fatal blizzard conditions in northern New England, with maximum danger concentrated across heavily populated transportation networks. Third, temperature variations across the continental United States this weekend will establish new December extreme records, with potential 95-degree differences between San Diego and Duluth, creating unprecedented continental meteorological gradients. Fourth, transportation safety demands extraordinary attention to precise timing and alternate routing strategies, with adjacent highways potentially experiencing completely opposite conditions separated by elevation differences measured in hundreds of feet rather than miles. Fifth, age-related health and mobility factors become paramount during extreme weather scenarios. Individuals over 50 encounter significantly amplified risks from cardiovascular stress, hypothermia exposure, and medication access complications when standard emergency services face operational limitations. Sixth, community mutual aid and neighbor vigilance represent essential survival strategies, especially for isolated elderly residents vulnerable to power, heating, communication, or medical supply interruptions. Seventh, communication infrastructure planning becomes vital as cellular networks, internet services, landline telephone systems, and emergency broadcast capabilities may experience widespread interruptions during peak storm intensity. Eighth, spiritual preparation and prayer become sources of strength and comfort as we navigate challenges that remind us of our dependence on divine providence and protection. Before concluding, remember that meteorological prediction at this magnitude remains inherently challenging despite technological sophistication. Localized conditions can deviate substantially from regional forecasts, particularly in areas with significant topographical variations, substantial urban development, or proximity to major water bodies. I will maintain continuous monitoring and provide emergency updates as this system evolves, with special attention to any life-threatening developments that could impact community safety, property protection, or essential service availability. This concludes your comprehensive pre-weekend weather emergency briefing. Remain vigilant, maintain preparedness, and remember that thoughtful advanced planning and community solidarity can successfully overcome even the most formidable weather challenges. Whether you're savoring 84-degree beach conditions in San Diego or preparing for 30-inch snowfall accumulations in Vermont, ensure complete readiness for nature's weekend demonstration. In my forthcoming critical analysis, I'll examine post-Christmas weather implications and provide preliminary indicators for New Year's travel conditions, plus comprehensive January weather outlook for all American regions. Until then, please share your local conditions and weather observations in the comments section. Your community weather intelligence enhances forecast precision and protects surrounding areas. Your neighborhood-specific weather reports provide crucial, real-time verification data that improves forecast accuracy and helps safeguard families throughout this extraordinary weather event. May the Lord's protection encompass you and your families during this sacred Christmas season. Stay safe, stay prepared, and extend care to one another as this winter storm system develops across our nation.